Salamta, Salamta. Tena Yistalim. Greetings, greetings. This is your Wyndham, your brother. Ra Sahar Ahad Tafarai. Report for Fruits of Divine Ministries of H.I.M. Big up to the LOJ Society of His Imperial Majesty. My brother Ra Sayyadanis Tafarai. Big ups. Many blessings. Okay, now, this is going to, I'm going to call this one Jew or Jewish. How about that? That's a good title for this. Because this is a big confusion that's going around with everybody, and a lot of people don't even, they're like, it don't even matter. But listen, it does matter. Okay, so I was conversing with a couple of people, but the main thing that made me do this video, I had a friend. I got a friend. He's my brother, and I hit him with this question, not for to argue or debate back with him. I just answered him a question. This was in private, wasn't in front of nobody. You know what I mean? This my brother, like I said. And I was like, was Paul a Jew? Because he's a preacher. He's teaching and preaching the word or whatever. And he said, yeah. And I said, well, he wasn't. But before I can expound on it, he was like, well, he came from Jacob. Everybody that came from Jacob is a Jew. Or is Jewish or whatever. And I said, well, that's wrong. But I never got a chance to expound on this. So I'm going to expound on it now. I'm going to give it to you. And I want you to get your pen and pad. Get your scriptures. Write this down so you can go back in and do research or study these things. Right? Because I know that they're not giving it to you like this in the church. In the church. And if your pastor ain't preaching or teaching like this, I should say, you better go somewhere else. Better yet, go to the master. Go to Yeshua. He gonna guide you right every time. So let's begin. What's the difference between Jewish and a Jew? So I'm in Romans 11, chapter 11. We're going to start off with Paul. So in Romans chapter 11, verse 1. We don't need to go no further than that. So that's in my Abba, let my festival do. So how do unlock in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. I say then, and this is Paul speaking, I say then, have Yahweh, Buduku, blessed be he, cast away his people? By no means, for I also am an Israelite, of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin, right? Paul was from the tribe of Benjamin. Tell you why that's important. Go to Exodus chapter 1. I'm going to break it down for you. So, Exodus chapter 1, I'm going to try to make this quick. These are the children of Jacob, or the children of Israel. All Israelites are Hebrew, but all Hebrews are not Israelites. To be an Israelite, you have to come from the man Israel, Jacob. So, first son, Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Yehuda, Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, Benjamin, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, Asher, and Joseph, of course, but he was already in Egypt. So you got these 12 sons. So if you come from Joseph, well, since he was split to two tribes, since he had Manasseh and Ephraim, those are Josephites. But the ones that come out of them are Ephraimites, or out of Manasseh, Manassanites. If you come out of Asher, you're Asherite. Gad, Gadite. Naphtali, Naphthalite. Dan, Danite. Benjamin, Benjaminite. Zebulun, Zebulunite. Issachar, Issacharite. Judah, Yehudite. Levi, Levite. Simeon, Simeonite. Reuben, Reubenite. That's what you are if you come from any one of these sons. But if you're a Jew, you come from Judah. This man right here. So you got a whole nation of people saying that there are 12 tribes and all of them are Jews because they call themselves Jewish, right? But it's the whole ish thing that makes everybody confused. Jewish. What's the difference between Jew? He's Jewish. No, he's not Jewish. He's a Jew. What's the difference? Okay, now, this is the difference. First, let's look at the ish. Why are they putting ish on it? You know, when you put ish on something, it's like an adjective, right? Not adjective, but it describes something, right? So if you got a grown man and he has a boyish face, is he a boy? No. He has a boyish face. His face is like a boy. So if you're Jewish, you're like the Jews. Kinda. Sorta. So if we look up ish, because I want to get it right, I don't want nobody just taking my word for it. I don't know if you can see it, but it says ish. Definition, it says ish, right? Used to modify or moderate something previously stated, or as a vague reply to a question, like somewhat, in a way, not exactly. It's a dissent. So it's not exactly that, but it's something like that. So if you're Jewish, you're not a Jew, but you're something like that. But what they mean to say is that they're Israelites, because you'll never hear them call themselves Israelites. They'll always say Jewish, because they know they're not Israelites. They know they're not Israelites. We're the Israelites. Now, and there's ones who know, because they can't keep the lie going if they don't tell the next generation to keep this lie going. But there's a lot who don't know. I'm going to get to that. Why they don't know and why we don't know. All right, so that's ish. So if you have a Jewish person, that person he's not a Jew. He's Jewish. Right? So Paul is saying that what? He's an Israelite. He didn't say he was a Jew. He didn't say he was Jewish. He says he's an Israelite from Benjamin. So he's a Benjaminite, not a Yehudite, not a Jew. That's the first thing. Second thing is, where do they get that from? Jewish. Why do they call themselves Jewish? How are they like the Jews? Or how are they like the children of Israel? Because that's what they're really saying. They want the world to believe that all 11 tribes are Jews, because they call themselves Jewish, which is insane. And that's why all this stuff is going on over there now, because, the ones over there, they're like, you're not the Jews. They left here black and came back white. Like, this is not your land. We're going to take it, if anything. That's why they fighting. All right, so now, we got 7 minutes, almost 8 minutes. All right, so, a lot of people say, well, they changed the Bible and did this and did that. The scriptures remain. The scriptures are true. They didn't really change any stories or anything like that, but they did change words or switch words out or put words in to mean something else that they don't mean, or to try to get you to stay up under that. So that's when you speak, those are the only words you heard spoken referring to that thing. So you use that word, like Jewish. Now, I say that because I'm going to go to John 2, book of John, chapter 2, verse 13. This is after Yeshua had made, turn water into wine, and he goes down and he turns over the tables and all that, right? He's about to go turn over tables, but the scripture says, in the Jews' Passover was at hand, in Yahushua, Buduku, blessed be he, went up to Jerusalem. So there's no such thing as a Jews' Passover. They could have just said the Passover, because nobody else has a Passover, so we already know whose Passover it was. So they put that Jews, and if anything, it would have said the Israelite Passover, right? So let's go to that. Let's go to that Numbers. What did it say? Numbers 9:2 says, let the children of Israel. Do it say Jews only? No. Let the children of Israel also keep the Passover at his appointed season. So it's not the Jews' holiday. It's Yahweh's holiday. It's Yahweh's Passover. That's practiced by the children of Israel. So it would have been better off to say it's the children of Israel's Passover or Israel's Passover. But they stuck Jew in there because that's how they want you to refer. And as long as you keep saying Jew and Jewish, Every time you say that, you're going to think of those people. Now, let's go back to where all this started. If you go to 2 Kings chapter 17, and at this time, this is when they was cutting up. This is when the Israelites was cutting up. So what the Elohim say? Chapter 17, verse 23 is very important. Make sure you're writing this down. It says, until Yahweh Baruch Hu removed Yisrael out of his sight, as he had said by all his servants the prophets, so was Yisrael, what? Carried away out of their own land to Assyria to this day. And the king of Assyria brought men from Babylon, from Kutha, and from Ava, from Hamath, and from Sepharvaim, and placed them in the cities of Samaria instead of the children of Israel, instead of the children of Israel. And they possessed Samaria and dwelt in the cities thereof. So that's how they even came up and got into our land, right? When the king of Samaria replaced us with them. And so it was at the beginning of their dwelling there. What? The beginning. But we were there already. That they feared not Yahweh. Therefore Yahweh sent lions among them, which slew some of them. Because they didn't know how to keep the law. They didn't know Yahweh, so they were just cutting up. So Elohim sent lions in there, or a conquering lion, right? Sent lions in there to deal with them. But check this out. It says, then the king of Assyria commanded, saying, carry there one of the priests whom you brought from there. Carry one of the Levitical priests, sons of Aaron, that you brought from Assyria, and bring him back, and let them go and dwell there, and let him teach. Let him teach. Jewish. Teach them the manner of the Elohim of the land. That's how they know the laws and all these other things, or the holidays and all that, right? Then it says, then one of the priests whom they had carried away from Samaria came and dwelt in Bethel, and taught them how they should fear Yahweh. Howbeit, every nation made Elohim gods of their own, and put them in the houses of the high places which the Samaritans had made, every nation in their cities wherein they dwelt. So these ones went in, the king of Assyria replaced us with these men, right? And then after they were taught the way to live, they defiled that. And it says, and the men of Babylon made Succoth and No, and the men of Koth made Nergal, and the men of Hamath made Ashima, and the Avites made Nibhaz and Tartak, and the Servarites burnt their children in fire to Adramelech and Anamelech, the Elohim of Sepharvaim. So, Jewish. But check this out. So they feared Yahweh. You know, that's how they served Yahweh, and made to themselves of the lowest of them what? Priest. Made the lowest of them priest of the high places, which sacrificed for them in the houses of the high places. So those are the ones who call themselves Jews or Jewish. Now, we know you got Ashkenazi Jews, you got the Sepharite Jews. We just seen Sepharvaim, right? They're not Israelites. And if you go to children of Israel keep the Passover, John 2, Romans 11, 2 Kings. What else? Oh, real important. This is why I'm getting to this. Because I posed another question to another friend of mine. He's preaching or whatever. And I asked him, because, he be going back and forth with me on this Israelite stuff. But we don't be arguing, we talk. And I said, well, what does it say when it talks about confusion of faces in the scriptures? He didn't know, but, if he would have cared, he could have found out. He just forgot about it and walked off. But anyway, so let's go back to why or where did this Jewish stuff come from? Right? Where did the Jewish stuff come from? So, if we go to Daniel 9, chapter 7, 9 and 7, it says, O Yahweh, Baruch Hu, blessed be he, Righteousness belongeth to thee, but to us confusion of faces